Greetings, I'm Shad from 615.
Greetings, I am Shad from Earth Prime.
And today, what are we doing, Shad from Prime?
Well, we are going to be looking at some of the comments in response to our video on Loki, episode 6. But before we get Shad from Earth 615, I must say, for some reason, you are looking remarkably dashing.
Ah, well, yes. I am a straight white male. I don't know. So, you're not the one for me, pal, but...
I wasn't hitting on you. It feels a bit wrong. I don't know why. Like hitting on yourself?
Yeah.
And kissing yourself?
I mean, I've got an ego, but...
like, even if you
odd.
try and say it, it's not really incest, it's more like...
Self-cessed.
Self-satisfaction. It's weird enough to make you go, you know?
I think the real cest it is obsessed with yourself. That's not good. So...
There's been quite the response to our last Loki video. Let's just say we had some strong feelings on it. I'm still feeling under the weather, so I'm sorry if I don't have as much energy and enthusiasm. But interestingly enough, right, after the episode, you know, when I was raging so hard, and I was feeling far better afterwards in terms of the symptoms of my sickness. They lessened considerably. It's like my rage burnt it away.
Yep, hate is a powerful thing. Anyway.
Hating the right things is...
Exactly, hate the right things. I'm going to take these off because...
Shad, are you saying that you can see without glasses? You're clearly not a variant Shad. Hang on a second, you're Oz in disguise. I knew it. These parallel things, like, there legitimately could be a version of me that looked like Oz, so I had to just go, you know, like if I could look like an alligator, right? You know.
Yeah, or a woman.
Or a woman.
Oh, that's Nathan, I guess. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Nathan, come back. We miss you.
We need you, Nathan.
Yeah. Right, this magic is done.
But reality is back to normal. It's getting a bit weird before.
Yeah.
I realized he was stripping in front of me. I thought, oh, yeah, I didn't need to see that.
Approaching a red line event.
Oh.
Okay. So, we're here to read comments. Jeez, my eyes hurt. Oh, those glasses suck.
Well, when you wear glasses that aren't your prescription, yeah, they do hurt your eyes. But when they're right for you, it makes your life so much easier. So, sorry, without further ado, I know, look, game nights, we're going to go off on tangents, we're going to ramble. There'll be preamble before we get into the amble. Is that what amble is? Preamble is the pre to ambling.
I think it's just waffling.
Anyway, now we get into the amble. The comments!
The comments.
So, coming from top comment down,
which is from Noble J7, who is the greatest American to ever live, by the way.
Why is Noble?
Because we've been talking on Discord.
Oh.
And he went outside and let one out of the chamber.
It's very irresponsible. We do not.
No,
we don't endorse.
He put the squirrels on notice.
All right. And what was the comment?
If Loki is over, we need something else to take the place of the Loki discussions. I must have more of this great dialogue and discussions from the game nights.
Makes me so proud.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
I really, that is awesome.
Thanos. This is from Ben the Writer. Thanos. The resources are finite. Kang. Just invade another universe, bro. Thanos. Owen Wilson, wow. Yeah, fair enough. Wow. Imagine if Thanos said wow. Did he say it once? No, he didn't.
I don't think he did, but he said how in the voice, didn't he? I have people saying he kind of said how in the Owen Wilson voice. Not sure if it counts. So, yeah, but some people actually were trying to raise comments about my criticism, like, no, it does make sense to invade other realities for resources and stuff like that, when, you know, like, this, I really don't think so. If resources are what you're after, okay, this is also with Thanos' one. It depends on types of resources. Habitable planets, maybe that's a more limited resource. But I think with technology terraforming, in terms of just raw elements to mine and stuff, there are so many desolate planets, like orders of magnitude more than habitable planets in the universe.
Yeah.
And so, like, when energy's, I don't know, it just doesn't...
Isn't Mercury just a big ball of iron?
Yeah, like... I said there were some instances where maybe if you're after a loved one, then you can get maybe Infinity Stone and stuff. But still, the overall logic, and even if you had a crazy madman who was like, I don't care, I just want to conquer everything, that's not really taking into account the insane scale
Yeah.
of the things in the universe.
To
And then
conquer a
people-
universe.
Yeah, and then people say, no, Shad, it's actually not that they're trying to conquer the whole universe. They're just trying to conquer 1 or 2 planets in the other universe. And if they're only after 1 or 2 planets, just find another freaking planet in your own universe. You don't need to go to all the trouble going to another freaking universe. Oh.
The only time you would realistically need to do that is if you're at like the heat death of your own universe. You're at the end, and you need to get to another one that's brand new or something like that. All right. Yeah. Anon Y Mouse, anonymous, says, quoting you, Shad, I'm only here because Rage is giving me energy. He's negated all negative status effects and gained a bonus attack.
Like, this has actually made me reconsider the concept of a barbarian rage. I used to think, it's a bit dumb, like, you know, you can trigger... I can't trigger my rages spontaneously just when I need it. That's probably... But I do actually generally see the incredible power you can gain from rage. Like, we saw it, you know, in the comment review. And not only that, when I legitimately found that my sickness symptoms had abated from the energy I got from my rage, I was like, there might be something to this.
If I want to summon my rage, I just think about current events.
Or Halo 343.
343's Halo. Halo
Yeah.
4, 5.
By the way, people saying that Oz hated Halo. No, Oz loves Halo. I
love it.
He loves it so much, which is why he hates 343 so much.
Yes, 343 destroyed Halo just like Disney destroyed Star Wars. But they did it before, so...
Now, while you're talking, like, I'm looking at the screen. Your face does look pretty bright, but maybe it's the screen thing. But my face looks good lighting. Yours like it's glowing.
I'm the same species of vampire as Edward from Twilight. That's what it is.
Ah, I don't know why. I have good feelings towards Twilight.
That's because you're a pussy, Shad.
No, like, I actually went through all of the books with my wife. Yep.
So you were whipped, that's why.
No, and I actually got I got really engaged and enjoyment out of it. Like, it gets to the last book, almost like X-Men levels, where all the vampires have a special power. And it was well set up in that series of Bella having something strange about her because Edward can't read her mind.
What was her power as a vampire?
She was immune to a lot of any other power that affected her person and mind, which ended up being crucial to the final battle. Because I don't want spoilers, but I enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's good, okay, but you know, I always have to give credit before its insane success. It's obviously doing something right to be that successful. And if you might say, people who criticize saying it's crap and everything like that, I'm not sure you would complain or turn down if you figured out what that was and you could duplicate it to get such insane success. I'm guessing that you'd be willing to do that at the sake of a perfectly written book.
Shad's next book is about gay vampires.
But people might say, but Loki's successful. There's a level of dumbness. And I will defend that Loki TV series dumbness is orders of magnitude worse than Twilight. There comes to a point where the dumb is so bad, it just rips you. You're like, nah.
So you're saying that there's dumb and there's dumber?
Well, there are pretty extreme levels of dumb in Twilight, I do admit.
Yes.
But there's more to enjoy, I think. There's some fun stuff in Twilight, and Loki, it's like
Anna Kendrick?
desecrating characters and stuff like that, and
Why'd they... Okay. Movies. Is it Kristen Stewart?
yeah, I forget her name, but I don't like her as an actress. I
Old
do
stone
admit.
face.
Yeah, she's just so...
Yeah. Anyway.
But I like
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
He's great in everything.
Pattinson,
He's great.
oh.
No, Robert Pattinson, you're great.
No, I tell you what, you're on notice with this Batman movie, okay, Robert? I mean, the whole not working out is unacceptable for Batman.
I'm actually trying to look like him in real life,
Oh,
but
really?
I'm too pudgy and, yeah. I look more like Ed Sheeran than anything. I keep getting Ed Sheeran, you know?
You know the guy that, like, I feel like they must have made him after Robert Pattinson.
Who?
Like it's almost one for one. You got to bring it up.
What?
The director of the Bolt animated movie. You know Bolt, the animated movie, the super dog that's not really a super
Yeah.
dog? There's a director where he says, like, and if the dog believes it, the audience will believe it. Get his face. That's Edward That's Robert Pattinson, man. Like, I'm serious, like, live action. You have to, like, that's Robert, yeah.
That's an obscure reference, but sure.
Oh, it's just my kid. I watch a lot of kids shows because I have young kids, and Bolt, man. Actually, Bolt's good. I enjoy Bolt. Yeah, it's got an animated version of Robert Pattinson without it being directly Robert Pattinson. Like,
Yeah.
am I right? Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments.
Turab Afghan Ishallah, brother, says, Shad, I'm pissed! Me, well, I'm hungry. You don't see me complaining. Stomach growls. Okay, fair enough. Continue, Lord Shad.
Thank you.
Dude, eat some food if you're hungry. You're not you when you're hungry.
Or, when you're angry, vent a bit in a safe way. But
Yeah, let the rage out. You see, when I feel angry, like usually it's a Friday night, the world just got me down, I go out, I slip into the darkness, and I take one human life. And then I feel great. I stole that joke from an 80s comedian. Okay. Navzarion. Holy crap, that's a good name. Navzarion.
Navzarion. I guess, yeah, the end's got a, Thulsa Doom kind of feel. Navzarion.
Yeah, Thulsa Doom, Navzarion, exactly the same.
That's like a Lord... No, all right, let's try and find a better comparison. It's like a Lord of the Rings kind of Cair Paravel kind of... I know Cair Paravel is not from Lord of the Rings. I was saying it's also a bit like some of the names from Chronicles of Narnia, which Cair Paravel is from, but the Dulzga or something like that, which just sounds like a Lord of the Rings thing that I made up.
Hyperion.
No, Zarion.
After watching this and Angry Joe's complete and utter joke of a review, 10 out of 10 for Loki, really? I have to say that Shad should kick Joe off, and Shad should take his rightful place as Angry Shad.
I think I'm being more angry more often. Like if you want to see another proper angry review, go to Shadiversity and look at my Rise of Skywalker review. The rage comes out there so much, deservedly so.
Let the hate flow through you. All right.
Look, just on the Angry Joe note, right? I enjoy Angry Joe. Okay, I disagree so much with you on his calls. I don't think his standards are too high when it comes to cinema and stuff or film. But his standards are usually good with video games. He makes some good calls with video game reviews. But the other ones, still love you, mate. Okay, just don't attack your audience.
Yeah, not like he does.
I don't attack my audience.
You don't. But you do attack sections that would be part of your audience.
That's probably true. I attack ideologies. I attack the writers. So I guess I'm.
You attack
I need to do better.
The people who didn't like right-sided archery.
I trolled them, and is trolling attacking?
No.
You don't think so? No.
I'd say it's diplomacy.
Playful trolling.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the writers didn't think about how alligator Loki would exist. They just thought it would be cool to have Loki that is an alligator.
There was some also other comments I read about the alligator thing. That was it. Frog Thor wasn't actually a frog. Like in his, he became a frog. Turned into one.
I don't know.
And
I heard he found a
I'm
shark.
going off vague comments, and so if I get this wrong, blame the comments. It's not. Blame me for not double checking, of course.
I heard that it was a frog that found a shard of Mjolnir. Mm-hmm. That's what I heard. Okay. Evidently, episode 6 was so bad that it gave Shad terrible acid reflux. Yeah, because you were burping a lot. Here's the thing, though. Shad burps more than Rick from Rick and Morty.
We usually cut out the burps, but when I'm feeling low, okay, I don't give a crap mentality in my head, and we're just doing it.
Here's the thing, men burp, okay?
Yeah, just to get over
just because women don't fart or burp.
No, they do.
No,
that's a lie, Oz. No, they do.
No, it's a conspiracy theory that they do that. They work so hard that they burn up everything. It's like Elements from Mistborn. They just burn it all down.
They hide it. Men are more open about their bodily functions.
So women are deceptive? You heard it here first, folks.
Oz's opinion disavowed. I disavow.
Based Shad. All right. The main... Oh, jeez, is this better? Okay, it's not. The main issue I see with the logic involving the war is his justifying unimaginable evil with no free will in the place of unimaginable war in which free will exists. And there's the possibility of victory for good because at least with an infinite number of universes fighting each other, there's a chance that someone will rise up and stop it in a way that's much less evil than what he did.
You get it. Yes, absolutely. I think there was one comment actually saying that that they agreed with the TVA and stuff like that. And it's like, no. Because seriously, unimaginable evil without free will versus unimaginable war with a chance of living and free will. And seriously, you don't... unimaginable war is not ground to take away people's free will and destroying reality. No. And the fact that there's a chance that they might survive the war, And it's a no-brainer.
War good.
Oh, and that's aside from the point that the method of avoiding the war that Kang does is next level stupid. When all he needed to do was clip the other Kang variants.
Yep, just clip him.
Like if they can prune Thanos or someone, okay, and there's a Thanos copter in the air, like whatever zone, so they've essentially set up the TVA are able to prune anyone, even Loki with all his power, even Thor, right? Like, so the TVA are, which I feel is bullcrap. I really hate how they just set up the TVA. They could just do this when the TVA agents are just regular people with glowy friggin' sticks.
It would have been cooler.
I hate it so much. It's so dumb.
Would have been cooler if they had like superhero TVA agents.
Yeah. That makes it like that the TVA have some type of power that enables them to do this. Like, better yet, what if their tactic was just opening up a portal underneath people that they like? Thanos is just walking around, portal. Where am I? And he falls into the TVA where now, the Infinity Stones don't work, they're depowered or whatever, or they teleport him directly into a time loop or prison or whatever.
Yeah.
Done!
Or what if TVA agents, because they're time travelers, could see the future or pause people in time, stuff like that.
And and they even showed Kang being able to use time travel powers to avoid attacks and things. But the TVA agents have nothing. They're regular humans, and they'd be able to beat everyone. Like, do you see how dumb this show is? Okay, so even going beyond that, they could obviously, like Kang, he could just go to his other variants and get rid of the variants one at a time. He doesn't need to destroy friggin' realities and it's so stupid. The rage is coming back, Oz. I'm feeling it.
Perfect, because this guy's commenting.
Power! Right? Can you see how dumb this is? I hope you can. Because even with what they've set up, that the TVA can beat everyone, that means easily Kang could just clip his variants one at a time. His variants are not as strong as Thanos. Okay? Bang, 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 bang. Done! Multiversal war avoided, you friggin' moron!
Asking for permission to take Shad Rages and make Alex Jones meme.
Oh, yes, please do.
Permission granted.
I would love to see them. We will feature them in our game night episodes, right? Like, post them on the Discord. We've already featured the Oz Loki meme, which was just top tier, and the effort in that was amazing.
Which one was that?
The Loki. Vote for Loki.
Oh, yeah, vote for Loki. By the way, we're going to show that again. I'm going to put this in every single one. Look at that. Beautiful.
Now, well, we hope to get lots more memes. Meme it up. Give us the memes and we'll feature yours as well.
Yes, send us the memes of production. All right. Please don't be a paragraph. It's a bit long.
Is there a lot of replies?
There was only 12 likes, but this one has 110 likes just under it, and it's shorter. Is it just me, or is Shad's hair getting greyer with each Loki review? Show him some good Deep Space Nine to bring him back to his sanity, guys. Also, Shad's voice seems to be rapidly between Viking and Smeagol. It's hilarious.
That's a good way to describe it. I actually am embracing the onset of certain elements of old age, like, grey hair. Love it. Bring it on. Wisdom, authority, masculinity. Yes.
Yes. I think Oz just automatically has to oppose Shad's opinion just so we don't get blown up by Shad's power. Yes, I'm known as a buffer. Actually, no, don't call me that at all. I'm known as I'm one of the seals. The 7 seals of Shad. Any comment on that comment?
I love it. Great. And then there might be a vein of truth to it. Though you do disagree with me some freaking dumb things sometimes, which really annoys me. But anyway.
Yeah. I have to play devil's advocate.
Yeah. And I obviously do it to him as well. Like, in actual fact, right, out of who gets more annoyed with the other in disagreements, it's Oz 100%. You haven't seen the chess debate yet.
You guys are not going to like the chess debate.
We
love the swimming debate. Comment down below.
I was shocked at how many people enjoyed it.
Me too. You know who didn't enjoy it? Me. Any seriousness with Shad's anger is completely neutralized by the hilariously timed burps.
See? People love the burps as well. was like, I didn't mean them to be hilariously timed. It's just gas comes when you're talking sometimes. And this sometimes happens to me when I'm filming for Shadiversity, and the annoying thing is because Shadiversity is more polished, it's not as raw and real as game nights and stuff. It's like I have to remember my entire line and start again, and
Which is a superpower in its own right.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes.
It's okay, Oz. We all have things that are objectively bad that we like or enjoy. Sure. I like Doom from 2005. Great movie, even though it sucks.
They are referring to Loki, though.
I know.
Because Loki, the show, is objectively bad. Like, really, really bad.
It's bad, but it's not that bad.
No, it's... Oh, how can you say that? It's awful.
The worst...
Objectively awful.
Unfortunately, Hollywood is suffering from the death of writing talent. Junior high school level writing seems to be average now. I assume they work cheap. No, it's ideology, I'd say.
Well, it seems like they haven't. They're not been hiring on talent, but check boxes. Like you have to have the right, whatever. And then the writers come in with these very strong ideological positions, and they approach the writing of, how can I promote what I feel is just and right in the world, before, how can I just write a good story? And so sometimes they twist their entire narrative around certain types of representation and stuff, even though that type of representation, like women action heroes, have been around forever and stuff. And they and then they're so, they don't want to say anything bad about women, so therefore we can't give our female characters any flaws, and they don't give them arcs, and they become like horrible plank of wood Mary Sues.
But also what they do.
And let's listen. Captain Marvel, Belle, also Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Jasmine from the remade, Aladdin, Rey, Star Wars, Mulan from the remade Mulan. Are these all Disney ones so far? Like Disney, yes. What are you doing? There's more examples, right, where they're perfect.
Rey.
I said Rey.
Oh, okay. Well, here is also, right, with stories, they operate around archetypes, right, and symbology, and it's the man who's the hero, and he's the one who's strong and masculine. But what they're doing is they're just getting women and inserting them there. But then you can get feminine archetypes that are heroic in their own right, like Ripley. She's an angry mother warrior figure, Who else is another one?
Well, a great one from recent memory,
Alita.
Right? Alita.
Yep.
Exactly. This is why I love
Graceful, powerful.
Feminine, strong.
Yep.
But also flawed. She's naive. She makes mistakes. And she also gets defeated. There's a part in the movie where she literally gets, I won't say what exactly happens, but she gets defeated big time, right? And so there are flaws and problems with Alita Battle Angel on a narrative level, but the character is so enjoyable, and that type of character has been missing, like an actual well-written female action hero has an arc, development, all these things have been missing. It was just like water in a desert. I was just like, thank goodness. And I loved it for it, okay? And I probably have an inordinate amount of appreciation for Alita because, if it came out in the 80s or 90s, it probably would have been, yeah, it's okay. But because, again, we're in a drought of just even plain, base-level, competently written female action hero, I was just like, thank you.
Another one, Vin from Mistborn series.
Mistborn, yeah.
Very
Totally. I mean, it's literature, and literature, Brandon Sanderson doing a great job, mate, and we haven't seen as many problems in literature, as we see in live action properties, and so, and what's even worse, right? These writers that are coming in to try and push ideology have pushed more people away from their ideology than they ever have converting them to them.
Yeah, and also
I legitimately think Anita Sarkeesian has done a worse job in promoting feminism than she has done more to harm the feminist movement than anything opposing it, and she's the spokesperson.
That's
for it.
The thing. Okay, this might need to be cut, but all of this cultural stuff all started with Gamergate. It's when people started to notice.
Yeah. I think but it's also where the backlash started when people say, "Hang on, what are you saying? I'm not sexist because I like attractive women. Screw you for saying I am."
Haven't you heard the old saying, "We just wanted to play video games"?
And so, there are bad writers, and unfortunately, a lot of these writers coming out of university.
Yep.
University is like a stupid factory at the moment.
Yeah, and it costs lots of money too, so
gets
don't
people
do it.
in debt. Well, look, I mean, for certain fields where you need legitimate, like STEM fields, engineering, of course, university. But for any field where you can teach yourself and there's more reliable, and like writing, I taught myself how to write through online resources, and I was able to write a really good, successful novel as a result. And I have like 4 or 5 years worth of university level education in it because I participated in the lectures that were for free. So you don't need to go to university to educate yourself and become successful in those fields as well, in many fields.
It's like Good Will Hunting said in the movie Good Will Hunting. You paid $70,000 for an education you could have got at the library.
And now the internet.
I didn't need to go to any schools to learn to edit for you. Yeah.
Oz is an editor for a well set up company, established YouTuber.
I wouldn't say I'm any good at my job, but...
He's obviously good enough to be hired. Educate yourself. We're not saying don't educate yourself, but you don't necessarily... If you can educate yourself and don't go into debt, probably better.
Teach yourself.
Teach, and educate yourself in as much as you can. And don't...
On all things.
And don't fall for bullcrap people saying, this is how things are. Like, question stuff, double check things.
Yep. Vigilance is the price of freedom. All right, more comments.
Yeah, that one took us off on a tangent.
It did, but it was good. It was based. I haven't opened phone. Oh my goodness, phone is annoying. All right. Loki. Think for a minute. Sylvie, kill him. Me. Put him in the ball-kicking loop at the moment he doesn't know what's in the future anymore, and there'll be no more variants of him, and he gets kicked in the balls endlessly for eternity. Done. I'm
not sure that was what caused the because the timeline started to branch before he died, didn't it? I thought it did. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember.
It did. He's like, yeah.
Because
and how does that work?
Yeah, things. They don't friggin' know. I mean, it seemed like what. There came a point at the end of time when they met Kang when the TVA stops doing what it's supposed to be doing. I mean, because like let's try, and we're just going to find more plot holes, right? What causes a variant? Now Sylvie says the timeline wants to break free. I think that was episode 3 or 4,
maybe.
So that's implying that free will wants to come out. And I think that I agree with that. It's weird if you like, because immutable time means that every choice has been, and so if time has already been written, how can it change? Right? And so my kind of analogy was like, what if it's in constant flux? If it keeps, like, if it's a loop and it keeps playing over itself, every time it replays its timeline, people want free will. And it's established in Loki quite overtly and clearly that the TVA are forcing people to do things against their natural instinct or decision. Proof, Loki picking up the Tesseract, okay? There is, Loki would always do that. How would he never do that? But that was the thing that made him a variant. And so the TVA absolutely try to police people against what they would naturally choose to do.
Can I tell you my headcanon thing for this?
Well, can I just finish up? Because this leads to one of the most horrifying and disappointing things about Loki's implications for the larger MCU. All the events in the MCU timeline, okay, are forced by the TVA. They weren't the natural outcome of people choosing what to do. As proven by the Loki example, they didn't want him to pick up the thing.
Yeah.
And so that means every single horror that happened throughout all of history is literally the TVA forcing it to happen. Now you might say, what about the good things? It's like, that doesn't really balance holocausts and genocides and things. Now, you could chalk that up for just people making dumb decisions because people are crap, but not in the MCU now, because so much of that timeline is specifically forced by the thing. And even if they didn't force a holocaust to happen, they would enforce it to happen if someone tried to change something in the past to avoid it now. So that effectively means it's on the TVA as well. The TVA is responsible for every horror, and no free will exists in the MCU, and it's just, the MCU is a horrorscape now.
Well, I got 2 things, right? So first off with the, what about the human choices? It's like think about when an author writes a character, right? The author chooses what happens to that character, but when you're reading and you're well known for a character well, you know what's out of character for them.
Even more so, I'm going to take that a step further, because my experience in writing Shadow of the Conqueror was that I got such a deeper understanding of the characters. This was actually a bit of an enlightening experience for me, right? Where it felt like the book was writing itself. Because I got to a point where something happened, how would the characters react? It got to the point where I didn't need to force it or make up anything because I became so familiar with the character that I knew how they would respond and they would do it themselves. It's like that character.
Exactly. The character has its own free will.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. Oh, is everything just God's dictation? No, it's one in the same.
And just to go a step further, there got to a point, right, in my novel where the character did something that taught me something I didn't know. And that was a weird experience because I'm the author. How can anything exist in the book that I don't know? But there's a part in the book where the nature of revenge versus justice comes up. And I've always had kind of trouble understanding the parallels, what defines a difference. And then there's a part in the book where a character needs to answer that question. Instead of trying to say, how would I answer it? It's how the character would. And that character's insight that naturally came out of his worldview that I became so familiar with, after I wrote it, I was like, wow. And I learned something from it. It was like, man, and so this is when writing can become so damn fun and amazing, like when it gets to that level. And if you're wondering what is the answer, like what is the, like how's the character? Go read Shadow the Conqueror.
Go read Shadow the Conqueror. And the second thing was, maybe there's a macro level to all of the timeline screwery that what we're seeing is just like a version of events that from a macro level are set to actually play out. All the time screwy stuff. Maybe there's a higher level of timeline where all of this is just meant to happen.
I don't get it.
Okay, so, like... Oh, gee, how do I explain this?
I think it's too big brain for me. Remember, I'm not feeling well.
So, if there's one timeline where things are set to happen, right, and there's, like, contradictions in there that are, like, you know, paradoxes and stuff like that, go around in loops and stuff like that, maybe there's a higher level that they're all a part of that. Does that make sense?
That the loops are a part of the complete whole that the TVA want.
Maybe not that the TVA want, but that the loops are part of a higher level of timeline.
I'm not fully understanding, but I'll say yes for that.
Okay.
Possible.
Like the record jumping and like replaying, like accidentally, is part of the record.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Okay.
Yeah. They kind of show, if I'm on the same page, it's kind of what they said with the Avengers, that they were supposed to change the past.
Kind of like that, maybe a bit, yeah. But also, you think about justice and revenge, I'd say revenge is entirely punitive. Justice is about balance.
Well, I know what is in my book, and that's kind of my position now, but now I don't want to spoil the book, so go read the book.
Let's not spoil the book. Let's read comments before my phone dies. All right. He seems to simply state he knows what choices everyone will make up to a point. Those that make different choices get pruned.
Sorry to cut you off. I did realise there was a logical thing that I wanted to explore that we got distracted from and went off on tangents, variants and stuff, that now I want to go back and try and explore it again. And hey, this is the purpose of these things. Even if a comment makes us go off on a tangent, it's interesting discussion. So if the variants that branch off from this golden timeline happen spontaneously because of the timeline trying to break free, what caused the spaz on the timeline when Kang either started to die or it reached the point where he didn't know?
There's a theory.
What?
Renslayer left around that time, so maybe Renslayer did something.
Headcanon at the moment, it's a theory. Maybe. I'm not going to discount it, but at the moment we have nothing to go off. Because at the moment, it's very like, what? So I like it when plot holes are filled in later on. That's why I like Rogue One so much. You know, the stupid weakness in the Death Star that would destroy the whole thing. It's like, it was put there by a smart man. I like it, right? So if there is an explanation for it, I will happily accept it. But at the moment, it's a big, what? Like, what? Like, because, here's the logic, right? They're at the end of time. So technically, Kang has already monitored all of time. And so, what is causing the spaz? Like, Sylvie caused the spaz by sending something. What is he doing something? Like it seems to be something that he's not monitoring it now, but the TVA is still existing, and
it's tricky. Okay.
Sorry, that comment that you read out that I interrupted.
I've lost it already. It wasn't that great anyway.
No, let's try it. I don't want to leave them out.
Oh, the alligator's Nexus event was eating the wrong neighbor's cat, so Oz may be right. Because when Loki asked, well, what's his Nexus event? Pointing to the alligator, old Loki said he ate the wrong neighbor's cat.
Yeah, this just shows how bad and contradictory their writing is.
Or...
No.
Or...
This episode 6 establishes quite strongly that there is only one timeline when Kang specifically says, I isolated my timeline and then created the TVA to specifically take care of any branches from that timeline. He specifically says, it's very clear that the TVA was not made to monitor anything outside of this secluded timeline and its branches.
Or...
No, you're contradicting... Like, you would be contradicting what the show has confirmed now at the end of the episode, and also contradicting this, that the variant was the alligator eating something else, because... How do... Alright, go.
Or...
Are we going to get headcanon? Only say something that is...
Well, how's my headcanon any less than yours?
Mine isn't headcanon. I'm saying explicitly what they shared in the show.
Or... There's a bit of a misunderstanding here for either of us.
No.
For either of us.
Evidence from the show to support it.
I've got evidence too. I've got my receipts. I have the documents, people.
No, you would need evidence that would explain how... Because Kang says they're only monitoring one timeline, and the branches of that timeline, we only ever see the TVA jump to branches of the timeline to snip. The way you would explain Alligator Thor is that...
Loki.
The Alligator Loki, yeah. Is that the eating of the cat is the thing that caused the TVA to register the variation, but the variation that created the possibility of an alligator Loki happened much earlier on. That's how you explain it.
But everything else will be different. Anyway, let's not go back into this. The video exists.
I think I've won that argument.
I don't think so.
I think that... Have you read that most people think I'm all... Like,
there's tons of people... What did you say about the chess thing? It's not about the comments, people.
Group consensus does not prove someone right.
Yeah, and that's why democracy sucks. Okay. What's up, lads? I just finished watching the episode, and in grumpiness, I looked for a vid from you and boom, I knew I would... you would agree with me on this rubbish. Yeah.
It is rubbish.
Well, you know what? So's Macca's, but I enjoy that too. The rage gave me power. It's confirmed Shad's a Sith Lord.
Like I said, Sith aren't actually evil. Like, if I entered the...
well, the doctrine of the Sith isn't actually evil. It's the Sith that are evil.
Yeah, okay. Individuals. Yeah, but let me rephrase. The dark side isn't actually evil. And it's actually a really negative concept to think that passion and emotion and attachment leads to the dark side. Like, this is what Yoda is saying, that learn to let go of everything you're afraid to lose. That's a horrifying thing. No, attachment is very important. It's what the foundation of society is built, like the family unit, the love between people and stuff. If you have no attachment to people or love of people, you have no qualms about killing them then.
Detach yourself from the material, not from love and relationships.
Well, in Star Wars' defense, better writers came in after George Lucas in the Star Wars Expanded Universe to try and fix a lot of the stuff up. And Luke Skywalker, when he re-established the Jedi, allowed them to have romantic relationships because he saw it was the denial of the romantic relationship that led to his father's downfall. Yep. And so this shows that the original Jedi Order's teachings were not properly founded on correct doctrine, essentially.
Who knew that celibacy would create unstable characters? This is a good one.
I don't think the Jedi are celibates. Celibacy just means avoiding sex. No, hang on.
You think they give themselves...
No, wait, I'm wrong. Celibacy is avoiding marriage. They are celibates, they're not chaste.
Oh, okay.
Chastity is avoiding inappropriate sexual relationships.
Yeah, you can bet Yoda was going around getting laid 24/7.
Oh yeah, I bet they're, relieving themselves on a regular...
Yeah, using the Force, so it feels like no one's doing it. All right, you're going to leap out of your chair for this one. Just think, there's a reality where Shad absolutely loves the Loki show, and there's a reality where Loki show is actually pretty decent.
I would happily accept that reality.
They're the same reality. It wouldn't exist any other way. Unless there's like a reality where you're retarded. Chicken nugget!
We are in a bit of a dark reality at the moment.
Well, we exited Clown World, and now we're entering Demon World. Did you hear about that?
No.
No, dude. Yeah, we're entering Demon World.
Okay. Alex Jones is right.
Yep. He has the documents, people.
He's got the documents. The frog's gay thing,
He's right about that. He's right about...
No, he phrases things horribly, right? But the frog's gay thing was based on the fact that there was chemicals causing the frog's gender to change.
Yeah.
And he said that, his way of saying it was that it turned him gay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's right about fluoride. He is. Why do you drink bottled water then, huh?
It tastes better.
No, but also fluoride. Like, if you Google how to stop calcification of the pineal gland, on Google it'll say stop drinking fluoridated water. The pineal gland is literally the center of your consciousness. The spiritual part of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, frogs are gay people.
Remember, Oz is our resident conspiracy theorist. So, and
I thought I was Loki variant.
he actually, well, he's a Loki variant and our resident conspiracy, and he is. He, like Oz, you're happy about that.
Yes.
And so this isn't me trying to label him. This is me repeating his thing. And so, of course, Oz loves Alex Jones. What would you expect?
What else is there? Irrelevant. Okay. Going to an alternate universe to get a new copy of a villain's girlfriend was Kingpin's primary motivation in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, true, but you skipped one. Why were they irrelevant? I don't want us to skip
Oh,
them.
they're just not many replies, not many likes. Too long.
No. I if they're top ones, I want to
They're
hear
not.
them. Especially if they're agreeing with me.
Okay. Looking forward to Game Night's reaction. See title. Oh boy, this will be worse than the swimming debate. No, nothing's worse. There's only one thing worse than the swimming debate. The chess debate.
The chess debate.
And by the way,
chess debate is a good, guys.
we were talking about it on Discord, and I won. People made memes of it, of how genius my rebuttals were.
You're not right.
I am.
It can be played in a 3D world, but the actual core game of what you would define the game, what is it, is absolutely 2D.
No, that's a 2D representation.
No, the core game is only 2D.
The rules are based on a 2D plane.
Yeah, that's the game is the rules, Oz!
No,
the
it's
game
not.
is defined by the rules!
No, the game is the rules.
Yes, it is.
The game is set by the rules, but it's not the game.
No, that is the game.
No, the game is the sum of its parts.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
If you just have a chessboard with all the pieces and no rules, which it can be defined as the sum of the parts, you have no game.
So what was that?
Which can be defined as the sum of its parts.
So,
It can't be.
you can't have a game. You can't have a game with just the rules. You need the pieces. You need the people. You need the environment.
Stop misrepresenting me. See,
You said the game is the rules. You can't have You can't have just the rules and no pieces. Nothing like that. There you go.
No,
Boom.
no, you
I
can.
win this debate.
No,
Thank you very much,
Bull
Shad.
crap.
I appreciate you conceding
if I
to
gave
me.
you a list of what the rules of chess is, the
Yeah.
game is in the rules, and you'll be.
Let me just write down this concession. Shad concedes. To
When? What did
Oz.
I say that concedes? You're twisting my words.
We've got it recorded, people. I have the
When did
documents.
I know what I said, and I didn't concede anything. See, if you want to know, that's about as unproductive as the chess debate is, but increase the stupidity and the inability to communicate by about 10 or 100, and the length vastly more. You won't enjoy it. It's not a good video or discussion.
I have the documents, people. We should make that come out after
Even
this.
though I did win the debate.
You did not. We should make it come out after this.
No.
Monday release? Chess debate?
No.
What about Field of Dreams?
Field of Dreams, yes.
Field of Dreams and then chess debate?
Maybe.
Okay. As Ethan Klein once said, you don't have to think about it, bro. It's their job to tell you the information.
Wow. Yeah, I know all about this.
Comrade, the state knows what
Like-
they're telling you. They know what they're telling you. Why you
That
question?
guy has fallen so far. He used to have good takes, like be against, like he defended the girl who was wearing the Chinese dress for
He defended
cultural
Humongous.
appropriation. Did he?
He defended Humongous.
He defended Humongous, right?
He had Jordan Peterson on.
And now, by his like, you don't even need to think about it. Right? I know he in context is referring to authoritative sources, the scientists and stuff like that. It's like, because the people who were claiming the Chinese dress in Humongous, they were claiming authority and science backing them and all that.
You know who was an authoritative source? Adolf Hitler.
In Germany it was,
Yeah.
according to his logic. Just don't think it. Just accept what
Stalin.
Just accept what the leaders are saying.
Yep.
The orthodoxy and leaders, because they've done all the research for you. You don't even need to think about it. The level of stupidity is next level.
The party decreed, and so it has always been.
And so that whole debacle and that cowardly, dodging of the debate afterwards.
Yeah, imagine if we're trying to have the chess debate and you bring in Richard Dawkins.
What a next level coward.
Yeah.
And a lying, despicable snake.
In his defense, he is retarded. So,
Did he admit it?
no, it's just observable fact. Alright. Yeah, come after us, Ethan Klein.
Just don't think about it.
The red line is based on actions. That is why old Loki couldn't last that long. I swear it doesn't happen that often.
So this brings up, I'm not sure I agree with that, but it brings up other explanations, is that the red line is not when a variation happens or how long a variation exists from a point of variation, which is what I was saying in my interpretation. They're saying the red line is when a branching timeline changes enough to the point that it would cause the creation of a bad Kang or a different Kang. That's not confirmed at all in the show. It's headcanon. It's a nice explanation. I wish they would have said something like that to effect, but episode 2 seems to really indicate that red line is a timed thing.
Maybe. Okay, you're not going to like this one. Get ready to jump out of your chair again. Rule number 1 when writing time travel... Rule number 1 when writing a time-traveling multiverse plot. Abandon all rules, anything goes.
What?
He doesn't have the documents?
If you don't have rules, you'll have no stakes, okay? A story, any competent story, is framed by rules, because that's what reality is. When I hold a gun and pull the trigger, there's a rule that's associated with what's going to happen afterwards.
Not necessarily.
There are exceptions to the rule, and if you're going to use that exception, you would need to explain it and validate it enough. If every single gun just misfires whenever it points as the hero, and no explanation given, and they have a power, but the writer wants the audience to be worried that they might actually get shot, the audience is never going to be worried about that, because that's never happened. It's like...
Star Wars.
What do you mean Star Wars?
Heroes never get shot.
Oh, Leia does.
Luke gets shot once.
Leia gets shot in the arm.
Does she? Mm-hmm. Which one?
Return of the Jedi, when they're trying to break into the thing.
Okay, so in all 3 Star Wars movies, out of the thousands of stormtroopers that have ever shot at all 12 of the main characters, they've only been shot twice.
I have a criticism about that, because I think the stormtroopers being incompetent shots are bad. The argument is that it can be explained because they say they're good shots in Empire Strikes Back, and in A New Hope they're purposely missing because they want them to escape to find the rebel base.
Sure.
And it's only in Return of the Jedi when they're ridiculously bad shots, and how dumb it is that they're destroyed by pygmy little teddy bears and stuff, like advanced,
Well, Vietnam happened, so...
I mean, the incompetence of the Empire is very high in Return of the Jedi.
All right, here's one that this guy, he's persistent. Day 22, but now it's like day 23, of me asking Shad to do, and the Game Nights to do a special second edition of Dadism with Carl Benjamin.
I love Carl. I think he's a great guy, good friend, and no problem jumping on to have a chat with him on his things. Thing is, even though we go into politics here on Game Nights, it's not a politically based channel. We only go into it.
It is based.
It is based, but we only largely go. Politics comes up is when we're responding and reacting to politics that are in the media that we're interested in. We're largely a pop culture review, reaction, gaming channel. And so it wouldn't really make sense to do a dedicated one, though I've been half interested to maybe we will, like, because
just set down the doctrines.
We've had so many conversations about communism because we've reacted to communist messages and stuff in media that I admit that it might be helpful for us to explain why we're so negative about communism, because again, people have misunderstood. Like in the last episode where I said the reason why communism is bad because it's built on the foundation of the ends justifying the means, someone said, no, it's not really that. That's just when it's been done wrong. No, this is the thing. Because they say the actual definition of communism is everything owned by everyone, redistribution, what's the thing?
That's the end goal of communism.
Well,
the real
like socialism is that the means of production is owned by
state-owned, yeah.
Yes, no, owned by the workers, but anyway.
No, social. It's tricky, but
there's a lot of elements to it.
The definition of where communism starts is that all of human history is a war between classes, and that there's an oppressor class and there's an oppressed class, and what communism seeks to do is for the oppressed class, which is anyone you bloody say it is, has to destroy the oppressor class. Literally destroy them.
Mm-hmm. But there's a fundamental philosophy as well that they use.
That is it.
No. What's the word line? It's
From each according to
Yes.
his ability to each according to their need.
That's the one. That's the one. Okay, and so to achieve that, to achieve like everyone getting according to their need and stuff like that, requires the state confiscating things from the people who they feel have too much.
Yeah.
This is why the execution of that ideal requires the philosophy of the ends justifying the means, because the means is theft. Taking away people's freedom and right to own property to redistribute it. That's why you can't. So that's why that's perfectly justified in saying the underlying philosophy of communism is a justified means, because it's only through that philosophy you can achieve their ideals of destroying the oppressor class and having everyone according to their needs.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's evil. But
they also decide what your needs are as well, by the way.
yeah, exactly. I will tell you what you need.
Yeah. You don't need those 5 extra small bits of grain that you found there. No,
If you produce more by your own, you know, labor and your own initiative, you become a rich. You know, you become an oppressor because you're rich and you have more than other people, and you are now evil for just working hard and making your own situation better. Like.
There was a story of after they had confiscated all the food from the kulaks, there was a girl who went through the streets following the path that a truck had taken with all the food on it, and she was picking up grain off the ground, like small bits of grain that had fallen. And guess what?
Can we pause?
She got 10 years.
First of all, how heartbreaking is that? Is that someone is so starved that they will pick up grain from the ground just to eat, okay? And then that was deemed a crime.
10 years.
Like...
10 years was considered a small sentence, by the way. Yep.
Ah.
They would often do things where, like, after your 10 years...
This is why people who have understood communism have been so violently defensive about it. Like, you know, the whole paranoia is like, are you a communist? And they're like, Hail Caesar. It's funny movie, right? But that has that whole, like, you know, anti-communist thing.
Yeah.
But the reason why is because people saw the horrors that were created through that ideology. And if you think you can avoid it, no. Because if you have any situation where there's even one person who doesn't want to buy into this, you know, each according to everyone, each according to needs, and wants to produce their own, you know, resources from their own initiative, it's not going to work because they are an oppressor class now. They're rich, or you will be required by state authority to take away their freedom, confiscate their property, which is evil. It doesn't matter if a state says it's just, okay? Like... If a state legalizes murder, it doesn't make murder right. And so if they legalize theft, it doesn't make theft right either.
Well, they did legalize murder, and that's why...
They did, yeah.
That's why what you're saying, that from each according to their ability to each according to their need, that's one of their points they use to sell it. Don't use that one to rebuke communism. Use the oppressor class thing. Because they use...
Well, no, you can use that one to rebuke it.
No, but that's the main one. That justifies the evil.
Yeah, but... to achieve each according to their needs, right? Each according to their ability, each according to their needs, they have to take away nearly all the freedom of everyone to own property to redistribute it, which means it has to be enforced and that's why
but
it's so
people only allow that.
Another thing someone said, what you're describing is totalitarianism and not communism. How do you achieve communism if not through totalitarianism? And I kind of mentioned that if a small group of people entered into it through their own choice, I think you could achieve it.
But Shad, that only happens, that's only allowed, and people only go through with it because they've been told for years, these people are oppressing you. You're a good, honest person that these evil people have been taking advantage of, where it's not true. Actually, it is to some extent. The people at the top, not just the rich people, the people in power.
We've never said there aren't abusers in capitalism, and crony capitalism is a thing, and that's bad.
We live in that now.
We don't where there are...
Neoliberalism.
There are organizations like private companies with way too much power that are abusing human rights, like taking away people's freedom of speech and things. That's an abuse of human rights, which is terrible, okay? But the fact that the company Amazon, right, is making money through providing a platform for it to be able to sell heaps, and I'm not talking about working conditions here. I think working conditions should be good, all right? But the concept, the idea of Amazon, right, that when you purchase something through your own free will, a product at a good price, okay, that is somehow taking money forcibly away from you and giving it to a rich class? No.
Well, that's not what they're arguing. They're arguing that they
try and say that Amazon is the rich are stealing people's money. Amazon is stealing.
No, but that's not why they're saying it. They're saying that because a worker who works in a factory created something, and when they sell it for like 4 times how much it's worth, right? And they pay the person an hourly wage. They're stealing from the person who made that product because they made it, it's worth much more. That's where the exploitation comes in. Not to the person they're selling to.
Yeah, but it's not exploitation because that person is entered into it.
Yeah, because you're selling your labour to the person paying you. Just like me and you. I sell my time to him.
And the thing is, that person who made that product does not have the means to distribute it to the people.
All the resources to begin with.
Yeah, all the resources to even set it up and being able to sell that thing that they've made for the money that's 4 times what it's cost for the labour to produce it. Okay, and so the person who sets up that, all right, and creates the networks to be able to sell things at the price and stuff like that. That's why they are able to do it. And guess what? The person who was making that thing on their own, could they sell that thing on their own?
No.
In most situations, no, they can't. And so they wouldn't be able to get anything from the labour of making that in the first place. But this company that exists actually enables people to survive off a type of labour that could have never sustained someone in the first place on their own.
It's funny because they say that you choosing how much your labour is worth with the employer, that's exploitation. But in a communist or socialist system where the government's like, you're going to work here for this much and you're going to produce this much, and no matter what, if you go under that, you go to the gulag, that's perfectly fine. That's not exploitation or slavery. But you being like, hey, can we enter into this contract? I want to get paid. We get paid this much. Yeah, we agree. Okay, handshake. That's exploitation. You people are insane.
And what's also crazy, like we are getting into the comments, but people brought it up in the comments. This is responding to it, right? Now, what was I saying before about choosing what your labour is worth? The concept of value is determined by a group kind of consensus of what people are willing to pay for something.
Yep.
And so you
Supply and demand.
don't actually get to say how much your labour is worth. It's only by how much people value that labour. And so
it's by how much you agree with the other person they're willing to pay you.
Yes,
the true cost of something is how much someone is willing to pay for it. That's how much something is worth. Yeah.
Now, was there anything else that I wanted to mention about the whole...
Oz is this world's Loki variant. You're damn right I am.
So, as I mentioned, before, there are people who can enter into a communal, whatever, little community, right? Live under those principles. If it's free will, if they want to enter into it willingly, they usually fail because even in these, groups, hierarchies do create, and there are inherent, because people are different. This is the problem. This is one of the inherent flaws with the ideology. People are different. You have people who work harder than others and produce more than other people, and even people that even mildly they work hard, but they're not the real hardcore go-getters. Okay. The person who works harder deserves what they produce out of their own efforts. Okay.
Yep.
That's a natural concept of justice and fairness.
But also fundamentally, in literally any system, doesn't matter if it has living components or dead components, man-made or natural, in any system, there is a hierarchy. Even at the beach, there's some sand that sits in the shade, there's some sand that sits in the sun.
Yeah, the world isn't fair, okay? You got to do the best of what you can, all right? And this is the reality. If there are people who can produce more and actually succeed more and stuff like that, they can, by their own choice, use what they've accumulated to help people who are not. By their own choice. The state coming in and taking away what that person has produced to redistribute it just destroys their ability to keep producing it.
Yeah, and so it destroys that system of wealth.
And therefore there's no wealth to actually help the poor out, and then it's all destroyed.
And to anyone who says, if we didn't have, welfare paid by taxation, we wouldn't have, all these poor people would be dying in the street. No, because charity has existed since the dawn of man. It exists now. It exists thousands of years ago. It's man, like the Catholic Church, basically most church religions, were helping the poor.
Well, that's why religion is actually really important. Like, one of the greatest forces to help the poor and sick in the medieval period was the monasteries and churches and stuff. They would build dedicated hospitals that would give hospitality to people who could not find it anywhere else and things. Now, I actually think there is room for the government helping out in like healthcare and stuff.
They do a bad job.
Very bit, because I think there are some policies that I think government could institute. Social policies, yes, I'm not wholly against it. But anyway, that's a larger discussion. So
okay, I can just prove it right now. Think about government food. Is there any system on the planet where there's government food?
No, I think it's because I do believe it's someone's own individual responsibility to look after themselves, fundamentally.
No, my point is, there's no government food, but think about the food industry. You can get delicious, not necessarily good for you, but it is technically nutritious because it's full of fat, right? Food, and it's so cheap. McDonald's, KFC, there's no shortage of different things you can choose from. And because there's so much choice, that's what has made the industry boom.
One of the problems with healthcare, though, is that it takes so much more investment to get healthcare professionals to be able to do it.
And it's much more difficult because there has been this lockdown on what people can do in it.
Well, I mean, like, there is an important level of regulation needed to make sure people are qualified to practice in something as significant as healthcare. And so cost is often resolved at, like, you determine it by the amount of work needed to produce the product, and there's a lot of work needed to make a doctor.
I just want people to have more choice.
I think the choice is good, but I think there is room for government subsidies to help encourage, people to produce things that are difficult, to help people pay for things that are usually more expensive because it takes so long to produce, and healthcare kind of it's a more complicated thing.
You've heard of the what do you call it, the token system, where everyone pays the same amount of tax for certain things, but people get tokens, receive tokens from that, so they can choose what school the taxes actually go to. Even though, does that make sense to you?
No.
Okay, never mind.
So we have spent a lot on it. Let's move on to that.
Communism bad, capitalism good. Barter
the right type of capitalism good.
Yeah.
Okay. People say, oh, but what is like? No, we mean the good old free market.
Yep. If we're up to me, well, I won't say it. Where is it? I saw it a second ago. Oh yeah. This is just Shad losing it slowly as Team Oz gets bigger. I know this series was about Loki. But this is what I've gotten from all this.
Disagree and disavow.
Team Oz. Can you just say Team Oz? Look into the camera and say it.
No, I can't say that.
Okay.
No.
I'll do it.
I support that Team Oz exists, but I can't actively promote it or say that I want people to join it.
Vote Oz.
You can vote Oz if you want.
Ladies, comments down below. I have to say it at least once every video. I've been waiting for this. Relentlessly handsome is officially my new favourite description of Tom Hiddleston. I didn't make that meme up.
Yep.
Alright.
Don't skip too many, but...
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Yes, that's what the show has provided. That's what the show has provided us as info. The show breaks its own rules constantly, uses terms incorrectly, and contradicts itself episode to episode. It is an absolute train wreck of writing and is terrible.
100% agree. No, you can't even defend. You're allowed to like it. You can't say it's good and that is not a trade. This is
Shad,
objectively
you've told me I
awful.
can't do it. I'm going to say it. It's excellent. The writing is impeccable. I love the show. Everything is completely consistent the entire way through.
See, that has negative, implications on your objective judgment.
I've only just started watching this video. I had hopes for the finale, but it was terrible. I think it might be talking about the show, not the video.
Yeah.
At no point has Mobius shown any combat ability.
It's implied, though.
Maybe. He's TVA. All the TVA bloody agents seem to be able to beat Loki.
And look, this is the reality, right? If you want to go on who would more likely have the advantage in a fight, a grown man who has got way more weight in his corner and everything like that, to a shorter woman who, was a school teacher. That is now confirmed. She was literally a school teacher. She wasn't a warrior.
She was a strong female.
It's like, in reality, okay, you take an average man from an average job that sold jet skis and an average woman who taught school and everything, and in an actual fight, who's going to more logically win? Come off it. And then, so, if you want to go off on just logic, there's that reality. But then, oh no, she's a good tough fighter because it's a fight everything. It's how pathetically easy. The choreography was bad, and it was like, and it was like he fell over. It was like he took a dive in soccer when they just get lightly touched.
Yeah.
It was sad and pathetic.
My phone died.
I better get my phone.
Yeah. Is it raining outside?
A little bit.
Sorry, people, my phone died. I need a new phone. Comments down below, what phone should I get? Here's why you should vote for Team Oz. I'll be your leader. What will I do as your leader? Literally nothing. You can all do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you. As long as you're not hurting each other, or me, or taking anyone's stuff, do whatever you want. So please, vote Team Oz. In the comments down below, vote Team Oz.
Oh, what were you saying?
I was just telling why they should vote Team Oz.
Just to go a bit more on the Mobius fighting point, right? Mm-hmm. When I said, who do you think is really going to win logically? I realised, there's a lot of people who have been misled by media that think a woman who's just a school teacher has a chance against an average man who's got way more upper body,
Bone density,
bone
muscle
density,
elasticity.
the disparity in strength between the average woman and the average man is shocking. Like, really, when I married my wife and she was trying to do something, to open a jar, to especially like lifting things, as like she's struggling, could you lift something? Like, hang on, what? Like, and even in like sometimes where you get in a situation where strength gets, contested. I'm not saying actual fights or anything, but like
You're just playfully shaking it back and forth.
No, not even that. But when I can't even remember specifics, right? But where I've been able to compare my strength to my wife, it is shocking how much stronger I am than her, right? And my wife is not particularly weak for a woman. She's just an average woman. And so, and the thing is, I've gotten in fight, like, just because I'm a guy, okay, I've gotten in more fights growing up, actual fisticuffs. I used to play fight, especially, my older brother not kicked the crap out of me, but he would never let me win. He would always pin me. And
Who's your older brother?
Asher.
Asher's your older brother? I thought he was younger than you.
No, he's older. And so...
Guess there's no hair to have grey.
We got into wrestling fights all the bloody time, right? And like a lot. This is when you grow up with brothers, okay? But that actually has given me a much higher level of competence in a physical altercation than many girls have, because they don't express themselves that way on average and play like that on average and stuff. And so, and then I've actually done martial arts and things like that. And so the fact that it's more likely for a guy to do martial arts and learn how to fight and things. So when you have an average guy with a much higher likely chance of even knowing how to fight, well, you have your arms on your back.
It's a posture thing.
Okay. There is like a 1 in 1,000 to 1,000,000 chance almost that the woman will actually win that fight. And then people actually think, there are videos online of, I don't know, like, I'm assuming they're feminists, like they're usually, like, these women trying to attack men, right? And the guy's like trying to, like, doesn't want to hit, and they're fully trying to get into it, and the guy gets to the point where he has no other choice, and so just one, and they drop like a sack of spuds. It's like, and this woman thought that I could take you on, yeah. It's like, then reality hits him like a ton of bricks. And
spicy.
When this is where one of
thought
the
I
things...
was based.
No, I'm not saying it's okay to hit a woman.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's because of the strength disparity that men should not hit women.
Exactly.
Only in the defense of their own life and health and stuff like that. That's when, okay, a line has been crossed. You're justified in that, right?
How many hits do you think is fair? And even then, you shouldn't do...
I know, enough to keep you safe.
Just to keep you safe.
Enough to keep you safe, right? This is where modern feminism is teaching young girls and women a lie. And I'm not kidding. They've written full-on articles to say there's actually no strength disparity in men and women. It's just how they're brought up. And it is so anti-science.
Yeah,
it's
because
baffling.
men and women are completely the same. There's no difference
It's
at all.
Utterly
Exactly
stupid.
the same. People.
I mean, and it's feeding people a lie to the point where some women actually think, yeah, I'll take, like, they're an average woman, I can take on the average man. And then reality really hits them and they get injured, and it's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
I hate seeing women fight. Whether they're fighting men or women, I don't like it. It freaks me out.
Hey, a woman who does martial arts, that's always been.
Yeah, that's sexy, but I don't like seeing women fight each other.
Seeing someone who knows how to fight, that's sexy.
Because women are meant to be delicate.
No. I think all women should learn a bit about how to fight. I'm like, good on you. Better yet, using a sword. That's a turn on me. Give a girl a sword and she knows how to use it.
I prefer she took my sword. Hey!
But this is the other baffling thing.
If she consents.
No, this is the other baffling thing when people say that, men are sexist because they don't want women in their male-only spaces, and that's never been a reality in my observation.
Are women sexist because they don't want us in their bathrooms?
Well, guys have been trying to encourage girls to play with their toys from the dawn of time.
Oh yeah, I bet they have.
No, like...
They can play with my toy anytime.
But on average, girls are not as interested in role-playing games, magic, video games, and swords and stuff. And people say, no, the girls are as much of it. Like, they say, now girls play as many video games as guys.
That's not true.
Discount mobile game things just a pastime. Actually playing, qualification of gamer is like playing something competitively online, regularly, or something like that.
Hardcore gamers.
Like in terms of a AAA proper game that's made to be, fully dived into, girls play vastly less than boys in those sorts of things.
Final Fantasy Online doesn't count.
But the thing is, that's a turn on for guys. Guys have been trying to get girls into it for ages. Like, I've tried to teach my wife how to use a sword on multiple occasions, and it's just not something she's into. You know what she likes? She likes sewing. She likes cake decorating. And I encourage her. I think that's awesome. But I have no power to change it. And so the idea that, no, I don't want, a girl to come into a comic book store. It's like, no, do you know how thirsty nerds are? Are you insane? And yet, these feminists try to come out accuse men of barring off. And I'm not saying there isn't cases or examples of, nerds. But on the whole, not at all. Not at all. It's not a reality.
Men like women. And in fact, one of the rarest and most valuable form of women, which sounds sexist, is a tomboy. If a girl has the body of a girl but is into guy stuff...
Guys love it. They friggin' love it.
We will fight to the death over that. We will simp. We will degrade ourselves. Tomboys, comments down below. Anyway. Yeah, my phone died, so Shad's reading comments now.
I will bring it up.
Yep. And you can bring up the top comments, properly ordered.
You didn't have them properly ordered?
I had them, top comments first, but they weren't in order for some reason.
Okay.
It's the weirdest thing. There'd be 100 likes, 50 likes, 12 likes, 100 likes. It was weird.
Hey, I looked up game nights, but maybe it's because of my own search history. But instead of Command Zone, the third video that comes up is our Loki review.
Yay!
Hey.
Like and subscribe.
Episode 6 review. I don't know, I paused this ad, and the word that's on the screen is tism. I bring you glad tidings of a world made free. Free from what? Freedom. And then this is obviously the line of Loki from Avengers. And then someone says, is Loki really being out of character? ? This is a good point. If you're going to make a counter-argument, make it like this, where someone, has a thing. And so, ultimately, I would say, yeah, it is out of character for a number of reasons. One, if this is the Loki of the TV show is supposed to be Loki at the end of Endgame, or, before he dies, okay? It's supposed to be good Loki now. If this was bad Loki, I could see him wanting to overtake the TVA.
Well, that's why I think it would be more fitting if Loki was at the head of the TVA in the castle. Because that's what he said, a world without freedom. He even said at the beginning of the show, I'd take over Earth, I'd be king of space, I'd take over everything. Make more sense if he saw himself finally doing that, and then fought himself, That'd be fighting his worst impulse.
Yeah. And so when I said Loki should fight for free will, I think, you got a point there. That maybe, it's not been necessarily...
Fight for chaos.
Yeah.
He's a mischievous god of mischief.
That's the other thing. I think he wouldn't fight for order or overbearing kind of thing. But then they say, wasn't he trying to do that in Avengers?
When he was a villain, but now he's a hero.
Well, yeah, it does contradict the good Loki that's supposed to be now. That would be on beside of free will. And it's already expressed that he... valued free will when he talked to Owen Wilson in a previous episode. But if this was old Loki, you might have had a point. He would not be in favor of his own free will being taken away, which is what the TVA has done from in the very beginning. This whole series is Loki not having really free will and just being forced in this situation.
Kicked in the balls until he complies.
So Loki has always been about chaos and his own free will. But in terms of free will of others, I think that's a point. I mean to say hang on, how big is this one? Okay. I mean they say multiversal war, but is it every sentient being in every universe fighting each other, ? Or is it just Kang's planet fighting another universe's Kang's planet for resources? That's still a multiversal war that doesn't involve the implied entire universe. I completely agree, which would then create the point, why is the purpose of the TVA? If all these other universes are going to be fine, it doesn't, the implication was this multiversal war was leading to the destruction of all reality. He said it's almost the end. That was confirmed by Kang. And so the multiversal war has to be of that scale then to justify Kang's actions, according to him at least, even though he could have achieved it without the TVA.
It's like what we were saying last episode. They have this problem that they invent and hyper-focus on, and their solution benefits them greatly. He's like, there's a multiversal war, we need this, but it's literally just him causing this problem himself, and his solution is to have himself in power.
And destroy everything else. Kang is one of the most evil...
Well, they're all evil, because they both have the same solution to the same problem, that they are the cause of.
Well, his solution was the TVA. He's the only one who had that solution.
No, because when he died, the worst version of him also had the TVA.
No, we don't know that yet. We need to see episode.
All that changed was the statue.
Yeah, we need to see season 2 to find out what they mean by that. We don't know what that means yet.
No, because the change was the statue changed from the Timekeepers to Kang.
Yeah, but to me, like, Kang was already ahead of it. He just was using a front, and now he's not using a front. So we don't know if this is a different Kang or if it's
Okay, sure.
So, yeah, we don't know yet. People who defend Loki's plot and its logic are biased. I get that you can like something others don't, but objectively, the plot is nonsense, and even if you like the show, you can't deny that it is mumbo-jumbo, illogical, and contradictory. They defend it because they want it to be good.
Again, you saying, oh, you like it because you're biased. Well, I could just say you dislike it because you're biased.
No, I'm using objective standards.
You say I'm using objective standards, but that's not objectively true.
Yes, it is. Like consistency.
Do you not see how biased and arrogant it is to say I'm using objective standards and you're not?
It doesn't matter if it's arrogant. It matters if it's true or not.
Yeah, but for you
true
to say that you know that you're 100% right in this.
In the objective quality of Loki based on universal standards of logic and consistency, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There you go, people.
Well, what are you judging it to be, like something to be good on? Are you discounting it? Like, it's enjoyable. You can like it. I think it's great. You enjoy it. I'm not saying
no,
it's
you
not.
don't.
Well, there is a side.
There you go. There's some honesty.
If people like crap, it just means that people are going to make more crap, and I don't want more crap. That's the downside of people liking this crap. And Disney thinks it's a win. Disney thinks that Loki is brilliant because everyone is loving it so much, and so congratulations, you're just going to get crap tied with a bow that has Marvel on it.
To be fair, it's often been the case though. Look at Game of Thrones, look at...
Yeah, but we do get good things occasionally. Like
occasionally. Occasionally.
Wouldn't it be great if we got it all the time?
Yeah, but we can't.
If we were more critical of crap, then yes, we would.
Well, Breaking Bad was great. That's a good one.
See, you asked me what was something good in the last year. Invincible.
Yeah, but even then that
was
had stuff
brilliant.
That had stuff.
So I'm not saying it's perfect, but it was great.
Oh, but Shad, let me use my objective standards to tell you why you're wrong about it being good.
Go ahead, and then we'll look at a scale and see how many objective things it got bad, and we'll find out that Loki has vastly more things that it is objectively garbage on than Invincible. And Invincible has far more things that they do not only objectively right, with proper payoffs and engaging and all that. It's just way better. This actually proves why a lot of people hate King the Conqueror, because nothing is consistent and everything is a mess in the long run, representing everything you shouldn't do when the time travel is an element of the story. Yeah, I'd agree.
I didn't hear that. I was thinking.
This actually proves why a lot of people hate King the Conqueror, because nothing is consistent and everything is a mess in the long run, representing everything you shouldn't do when time travel is an element of your story.
Time travel's hard to get right.
Yeah, it is. This is why I think people should avoid it unless they have a good grasp on it. I disagree with people saying time travel is always nonsense and garbage. I think time travel can be done great. Just do it right and only approach it when you understand it.
Did you watch Tenet?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
Time travel works for you?
It was actually a bit too hard to follow for me to determine that, but the base understanding of meeting... that's a bit of a spoiler. I don't want to spoil, but people meet. There's two characters that meet each other on two different branches of their timeline. One person meets someone who they think he doesn't know, but that person has met them in the past, and so they're kind of meeting each other in a reverse long timeline. It's very much what happens in Doctor Who with an important character. This isn't a spoiler. It's River Song in Doctor Who, and so I've seen it before, and that's a really cool concept. I like it.
Yeah, but the time travel in that show, in the movie Tenet, makes no sense.
Yeah,
for it to make sense, a guy would have had to be built into a building.
When actively seeing something played backwards while you're moving through it and can interact with the things that play backward, that should cause insane paradoxes.
No, but things like, for example, glass panes being... Is it panes? Glass panels being built with bullet holes already in them, so the bullet comes out.
It's like very...
Yeah, that makes literally no sense.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So maybe... I'd have to reassess.
But it's still a great movie.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's total garbage. I need to look at it more critically.
I think it's pretty great.
No. See, this is where I admit that I can watch things with my brain turned off.
Back to the Future.
Enjoyable, but the time travel is garbage. But it's got good characters, got good payoffs and stuff, and really enjoyable. So I'd probably still err on the side of Back to the Future good, even though the time travel is garbage. Because you can have, like, a show that has bad elements in it that is still overall really enjoyable and also really great. Alita Battle Angel is one of my opinions on that. There's a critical one of Oz's opinion on the things, but
Well, go on.
Oh, there's me.
Read it.
Okay.
Go on.
It's funny that Oz's defense can be summed up as Mark Comics, which actually I don't think that's what Oz is saying. I think that's.
I'm saying a lot of things.
I think that's actually a more bad faith interpretation, even though I disagree with Oz.
Mark Comics is one of them, right?
No,
But
you've never appealed to the comics, have you?
I did once.
Oh, you did once with the alligator
But
house.
that's just one of them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
disingenuous
Your
to say it's just that.
overall, your argument has been based on your own logical through line and headcanon, which is what I disagree with.
My headcanon, then.
Yeah, my headcanon.
Bro,
That's
tell you what, the chess debate made me want to get a headcanon.
And then it goes on to say, so that is why he is so sure about some of the... No, it's not why. I disagree with that. But Oz, the MCU threw the comics into the trash a long time ago, which I do agree with. Yes, this is why appealing to the comics is you said no.
Well, again, the comics are the source material for this stuff.
No, but they contradict the comics all the time,
Yeah,
so you can't
but they
appeal
also
to the
go along
comics
with
as
the
authority.
comic. They also go along with the comics a lot of the time too.
No, but you can't just
This
say
entire
this
storyline.
must be the case in the MCU
I'm not
because
saying
it's
it
the case
must
in the
be.
people do that though. That's what I'm saying you can't do because the MCU has already shown that they're willing to divert away from comic continuity and world building all the time for whatever they want.
But they're also willing to follow it too.
Yeah, and so the only way you could know is when it's confirmed in the MCU. You can't make assumptions and say, it must be the same because it's in the comics. I just thought I'd watch a little. Then it ends, and I realise Shad's rage is so entertaining and makes far more sense than any TV show nowadays. Thank you for watching Loki so I don't have to. Well, thank you for watching us, and that's always satisfying. So I was like, I wasn't watching to watch much of the video, but then I got hooked and I had to watch the whole thing. I'm like, oh.
They love watching your rage.
Hey.
Hate's a hell of a drug.
So someone says I need to be on the next EFAP episode of Loki.
Yeah.
So I would like to be. I think it's already, we're scheduling it. We'll see.
If you want someone who will play devil's advocate, you can pick on. Not me. My ego's
The
too
first 30 minutes, at least, is about y'all mixing timeline with universe. Hold up, okay? That's according to your definition. When you create a new timeline, it is its own self-contained universe. You can use those terms interchangeably, all right?
Well...
No, because anything that happens in this new timeline doesn't affect another universe. It has its own universe. You can destroy that whole universe, and it doesn't affect the timeline it branched out from. You can go into that universe and steal things from it, like Infinity Stones, and it doesn't affect the other one. This is why you can call it another universe. There are interchangeable words that are already established in common language. Timeline, a branching timeline, is its own universe. You can call it a parallel reality. You can call it a parallel universe. Oh, it's a parallel universe, which is created from a branching timeline. Ergo, it's its own universe. It's already established in the common language that we use to identify what we're talking about. So I disagree. You're just trying to impose your own definitions on us, thinking everyone agrees. No, not even common language agrees with that definition. Oh, and then it's a massive thing. Because you go on a timeline, just yeah, that's your own definitions. Sorry, mate, disagree. Okay, 23 minutes in, Shad is done once again. While a variant can only last for so long before a Nexus event happens, the show shows that different branches can last for various lengths before a Nexus event happens. I agree. Okay, I've said that, you know, when I explained old Loki, that the initial change. So I've already explained this as well. The initial change was him surviving Thanos, but when he went on the planet, he lived on for years. And so I said that shows that it can last for longer. But does it contradict what they said in episode 2? You're saying it doesn't because they've showed that it can exist for so long without a Nexus event. All right, but does the show agree with you when it showed that it's more of a time thing? When something changes, did they say, like, was the show clear, is my point, when in the Renaissance Fair, okay, what really happened that was so changed that would cause a next event? Oh, it's just because they say it's causing a next event. They're pretty clear that it's the amount of time.
Who knows, maybe a nuke was going to go off there.
Oh, yeah, it caused a cascade, it caused a nuke. Loki being on a planet by himself for years before, meaning, hang on. Meaning is practically so this Nexus event wouldn't occur for years and years. Yeah, I get that. The point is, does that contradict the world building they established in episode 2? And I think it does. I need to rewatch it to confirm. I could be wrong. It's not impossible. But at the moment, but to call me dumb, come on, man.
Yeah, that's a bit far.
It's a bit far. You friggin' dumb.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
No offense. But you're retarded. No, you're not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, bud. I'm kidding.
Oz hates new Halo, yet he likes Loki.
That's not true.
Are we sure TVA didn't melt the real Oz?
Say...
New Halo.
Yeah, of course I hate new Halo. Yes, New Halo bad, and he spelt New Halo wrong. It's N-U Halo, not N-E-W Halo. New Halo bad. It means it's the same thing, but no, it's like new Star Wars, you know? Yeah.
I don't like reading the comments. I like when someone else reads them out, but okay, I'm doing it now.
You get to pick what you want.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to pick one.
That's great.
Also, who would represent the entire universe in battle or diplomacy? We can even agree on one planet. How do you get trillions upon trillions of planets to unified against an invading force? And how do you set up defenses against across an entire universe? Moreover, the resources needed to invade an entire universe would cost far more than you could ever hope to. Yes, I agree.
If it's an infinite amount of Kangs, what if there's an infinite amount of good Kangs, infinite amount of bad Kangs, and they're just fighting each other? So there's one side that has tons of Kangs, the other side has tons of Kangs.
It's a dumb concept.
I'd watch it. The Clone Wars happened, you know. This is just the timeline.
There's more logical validity for the Clone Wars than this multiversal war.
You don't like the Kangs?
Okay, to answer one question, I think that one good thing that came out of this year is Superman and Lois. I effing love that show. I have watched the first 6 episodes of Superman and Lois. I wasn't watching it objectively to determine if it was good or not, but it was watchable enough for me to keep going, which is honestly saying a lot more than a lot of other shows. And at the moment, it was engaging and enjoyable, and so, you know, Superman and Lois might be in the right direction.
I'm starting to not hate anime.
There we go. That's amazing.
Not relevant, but yeah.
The old Loki might have only become a variant. This is kind of covering the same thing. The thing at the beginning, Oz, you're allowed... Oh, that thing at the beginning, Oz, you're allowed to like it, was important to me, because there are many people, cough, Twitter, cough, who tell you what to like and what not to. Some people are like that, and not just some, sadly, as history shows. I find it important that we all respect our preferences. As long as no one gets hurt, we should all be doing what we want.
Yes.
So as long as people don't get hurt, okay. But some people claim what they're doing doesn't hurt others, but it does.
Well, that's, again, like, there has to be a clear connection between the harm.
What about offence? What you say, you're not acknowledging my lived experience. Hate speech.
Well, there you go. There's no connection.
But...
If I was to punch you in the arm really hard, there's a connection.
So
but I would say,
words...
Shad, your haircut today isn't as good as it usually is.
Oh, so hurtful, Oz.
But still...
Harm. That's
what
hate
are you always
speech.
saying about offence?
That's hate speech.
What are you always saying about offence? You can choose whether to be offended or not. You can.
Good. You know what you're talking about.
I'm learning.
But this is what the people say. The argument is, your offence hurts me, and that justifies me attacking you, or taking away your freedoms, or right to speech, or try and ruin your life by cancelling your job and other things.
If someone comes to me and says, look, mate, like, could you please not say that to me? I'll be like, you know what? Sure. But if someone says, hey, you monster, you racist, how dare you say that? I'm just going to do it twice as hard.
One of the problems is that a lot of the offence that people are claiming is legitimately hurting them. Your voice is violent. Like, what is it? Like, words can be violent?
Words are violence.
Words are violence, which is the most bullcrap thing ever.
Protests are peaceful.
Yeah, right. Is that they then think genuine expressions of belief are attacks again. If you believe something that is contrary to someone's worldview or self-identity, that is therefore attacking them as an individual and their lived experience, and therefore you're a hateful person. When no, if you're expressing something that's just a genuine belief and it's not targeting anyone, that's not a targeted, hated comment. And what happened to the days when hate speech literally meant kill X group? Like, hate speech meant when you start to encourage violence.
No, hate speech is a thing that they just created to say.
No, but back in the day, the definition of hate speech used to be calls for violence against certain groups. That was hate speech. Now it's anything that offends me.
Well, that is just call for violence, you know? Like, that was just extremist.
No, but that's the old school common sense definition of hate speech, is when it was a call to violence against a group.
I've never heard hate speech used until it started becoming a cultural thing of the left.
Yeah?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's just a thing they use to label any speech they don't like.
Yeah. So this person continues, repeating, I'll repeat a little bit before. I find important that we all respect our preferences as long as no one gets hurt. We should all be doing what we want and not get blamed, killed, jailed, cancelled for it. Totally agree.
Based.
Normalize, I'd say, that's just my opinion at the end, but this time I think that the world would be better that way.
Yes.
But that's just my opinion.
No. It's truth.
Did it again.
You can survive without liberty, but you cannot live without liberty.
Okay, so this is an interesting comment with a lot of layers to it. Like, the opening is that, they appreciated when I said you're allowed to like it, okay? Of course you're allowed to like it. And disallowing... Thing is, though, there are obviously extremes to that. I think no one should be allowed to like rape or pedophilia, okay? And so the qualifier would be anything that does not infringe on the freedom, rights, and safety of others, okay? Anything like, because if you like anything that does infringe on affect those things, you probably shouldn't like those things. And I think it's good to say you're not allowed to like.
That's the thing. Like, what about horror movies? You know,
how does that infringe upon someone's safety, freedom?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You see,
so your argument is that you shouldn't like things
that takes away the freedom of other people or actively physically harms them, not emotional, baby protection.
Just
harm.
making sure. Well, that's the same argument that I had. Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I'm confident that's not what you were meaning, but it's just I like to expound a bit more on,
Like, I grew up watching South Park, right, which is full of racist humour, okay? But it's funny because it's jokes.
And it's not meant seriously.
It's not meant, like, they're not trying to harm anyone.
Yeah, like, sometimes I'm not fully on board with South Park. I think they go too far sometimes for humour, but I understand that it is humour, okay? And so that's why I don't
What's one you don't like in South Park?
Don't know. Like, I've only watched a couple now and then, but there was one I was watching that I found funny. It's when they are playing Lord of the Rings, and Butters ends up accidentally watching a porno, thinking it was the Lord of the Rings thing, and then he gets hooked on it like it's the One Ring. It's his precious. I kind of like that for his anti-pornography message in it.
That's gold.
It was pretty funny, and so they try to find Butters.
I remember exactly what that porno was called in that.
Oh, really?
It's called Backdoor Sluts 9. Backdoor Sluts 9.
And all the men in it know what it is, but all the women don't. But anyway, they come across some kids playing Harry Potter, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to play Harry?" And Cartman's reaction to it, right, is what is an offensive term, too offensive now for because it's he calls them FAGs. Like, he's like, "Do you want to play?" And then Cartman's like, and he just keeps walking. Thinking, okay, let's break this down. Is that actually offensive?
No.
Because it was used, it wasn't targeted at a person who, fall into that definition and stuff. And it was being...
They addressed this in another episode about the FAG word, right?
Did they?
So, the people who ride really loud motorcycles, they start calling them FAGs, and then all the parents are like, wow, I can't believe you call gay people this. Like, no, we're not calling gay people this. We're calling this the people who ride around on really loud motorcycles. Okay, well, what if someone was gay and rode a motorcycle? Well, there'd be a gay FAG. And then they're like, what if someone's only thinking about riding a motorcycle? Well, then they're bike curious. I love South Park. I love it. It's so funny.
There's some I admit there's some episodes that, but I think sometimes it goes way too far.
Doesn't go far enough.
Well, I judge it on how willing would I want my kids to watch it, because
not kids.
Not kids, of course not, I guess. But even when I say teenagers and stuff, like. Because I don't think things should encourage or be exposed to certain mature things.
There's an age limit, I never met that. I was watching it for as long as I can remember as a kid.
See,
and lo and behold, you get a meme lord. That's what you get. But people should be inoculated against offensive things, I think.
I actually kind of start to agree with. This is why I've even been allowing a bit more offensive humor in my own kind of humor repertoire. Because people shouldn't take themselves so seriously.
People shouldn't take life so seriously. We're meant to have fun. Some things you take seriously.
Well, this is the other thing, right? If you take life so seriously, it's going to be a hellscape for you.
Yep.
Sometimes the only way to deal with tragedy and difficulty, hardship, is to laugh at it.
Yep.
You have to laugh at the darkness sometimes, because that's the only way you can deal with it, because sometimes life does suck.
Because we're all going to die. Do you realise that? Everything is going to... So just have some fun. And stop being such a...
Well, the other downside, like, when you take yourself too seriously, that's when you start to get offended too easily. And look at the problems we're having in the world from people being overly offended snowflakes. I think that's an appropriate term for people who are just like flaming babies, Grow up.
Well, I think it's past that. They just want it for power. I think that's what it's always been.
Using offence to gain power.
Yeah, just grandstanding.
So, great comment. Thanks for the conversation. That,
Based. Oz says based.
Agreed. One should never compromise with evil. The saints endured horrible torture and hardship to help show us the way. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's being terrified but holding the line and marching forward anyway.
Hold the line.
There was someone in the comments, because we like reading comments, that was saying they disagreed with that philosophy. And then they equated what was wrong. Like, they said, I would be willing to kill someone or something like that in defense of something like that. Killing isn't inherently evil. Murder is. Killing is not murder. There's a difference there,
yep.
Okay?
As B says, violence can be used for good.
Yes, we're talking about justifying inherently evil things to the goal that you want to achieve. That's
by the standard of what you were just talking about just then, how dare those brave American soldiers go and murder those Nazis?
Yeah. So yes. Context. Shad, I totally agree with you. They didn't plot out any rules at all, and it is frustrating for a person who loves world building. Also, the writer himself... Oh, is this true? Also, the writer himself said that the only reason why alligator Loki exists is because alligators are green. And then he has in quotation marks, we were talking about how we want to meet many different versions of Loki in this show, he said. I was just like, there should be an alligator Loki. And it's like, why? Well, why? Because he is green. And then, who needs more explanation? Sorry, why? Because he is green. Who needs more explanation than that? And then he has a link. So I think this is a direct quote.
Okay.
This is so depressing. It proves me right in what I was saying about the writers. They were just... Let's do this because won't it be cool, man? Without any regard.
Well, don't you believe the rule of cool? I do.
Yes, so long as it doesn't undermine or contradict or ruin the story.
Why does an alligator ruin the story?
For the world building, okay? They weren't even considering how they could get this level of variant based on how they have set up these variants to exist.
I would have preferred a sheep Loki.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'm Kiwi.
There we go. But no, the solution explains it because... The sixth episode shows that the TVA is only pruning branches off of this isolated timeline. Kang confirms that. So therefore, every variant Loki that exists can only come from a variant like this. And then it does raise you a good question. How the hell do we get alligator Loki? They don't even explain how. But there are ways you could explain it. What if this was a normal Loki that transformed... polymorphed into alligator and got stuck like that?
What if there's multiple universes all following the same timeline?
No, because that contradicts Kang. Your answer would need to come in and not contradict the world building, but they don't even think about it. They just will do this because. It shows how surface level, and they don't even care about what they're writing. And so this writer, this is by Daniel King. Sorry, I forgot to read out who was right. I do, and clearly you do too. Thank you for your videos. Keep them coming. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Appreciate you. The character assassination of Loki is the worst thing I've seen in this series. That alone makes me hate the show more than anything else. Hashtag not my Loki. I agree. Because you can have a show that has terrible world building, horrible things, but if it has a great, engaging, enjoyable character, it can be an awesome, enjoyable show. This is why I love Alita so much. Again, great example, because there are problems in the story, and especially the plan of the bad guy, it's a bit nonsensical.
Well, you're saying you're an elitist? I
mean, I am an elitist, yes. Right? Yeah, but a great character, it can make a show. This is why I enjoy The Mentalist so much, because the Patrick Jane is brilliant in it. And House...
yes.
House? Did you not enjoy The Mentalist?
I didn't watch it. It's just the guy's so bloody up himself.
No, he's so charismatic and funny and quirky. I love The Mentalist. So give me a good character and a show can ride on those sails. But
House
of course, then they can ruin that character like they did with the Pirates of the Caribbean thing. Jack Sparrow made the first one, right? And then he becomes off the rails in the last one.
I liked the Pirates of the Caribbean.
So we'll do one more comment. I love the open and honest discussions, such as, I'm pissed, and I was right. Thank you. We do, open, honest, and that's what we do here in Game Nights. Thank you guys for your comments in the video, and appreciate your interaction, appreciate your viewership. Hope to see you next time when the Game Nights have... game night, I'll bring game on.
Team Oz.